I am doing a video on 2018 psychic predictions, and when I was coming down to do this video, I noticed that everything is working out really beautifully today. I don't know, maybe somebody upstairs has few things wants to let the world know, and they're in a rush. I feel like I'm being pushed to to come out with this video, and before we get going, this video is probably going to be a long one. Is I want to give some disclaimers and some warnings, and I had some of these ideas in the 2016 psychic predictions. Um, well, first of all, there are other psychics, and they are just as good as me, or some are much better, like Nostradamus and Edgar Casey. Every predictions of Sufi Master have come true, and I think of myself as one of the least of his students. Uh, but also, I've made some psychic predictions and some of my spiritual visions, and it has drawn the attention of U.S. Intelligence or the government, and I had a very unpleasant interview. Well, this happened before I made a video for 2016 psychic predictions. So some of the stuff that pertains to United States, I'm gonna kind of put it in a form like in a nutshell, or in a parable, or I'm gonna tell you that this is a story similar to what happened in this movie. Okay, because I I am U.S. national. I live here. I am on disability. I really do not like a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, and I'm legally blind actually, but I have significant disabilities, and not really financially or personally able to deal with some kind of calamity that might come out because people pay attention to these things. And I think that there is a lot of robots that read the media, even audio, and then analyze it, and it goes and becomes part of the some kind of intelligence that evaluates stocks or bonds, or I have a feeling that other analysts, they kind of look into this, and they adopt these ideas, or they become aware of it. I've heard snippets of what I've said in other channels. Anyhow, I didn't want this video is to be all about these three countries, United States, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. But and there is a lot of good things that are also happening in 2018, but I cannot ignore like a 500-pound gorilla in the room. And also there is a lot of stuff happening with these three countries that it impacts other countries in a very negative way, and the world is very weary of them. I went through some of the philosophy of what these three countries do that irritates every other foreign country, and I'm gonna go over some of these ideas. They all three have very toxic philosophies or religions. They all three are predatory kind of nation. They are not like a traditional sense, a nation that cares about its own people and its own economy or plans for the future, or they are predatory. They go out of their borders and they murder foreigners or overthrow foreign government, or there is a brinksmanship that with the case of the United States and Israel is going on all the time. They make threats to other politicians. They claim to have an empire, and many foreign leaders are afraid of them, that they might overthrow them or they be next on the chopping block. And so there is no way to escape dealing with the stuff that's going to be happening to United States and Israel and Saudi Arabia. And before I show you some of the tools of the trade, and I use a lot of different systems to come to some conclusion. For example, every psychic has their own way of looking at things. Some psychics, they use white noise to phase out the projections of rational mind, and kind of get out of them and let the spirit read the world the way the spirit sees, in a way connect to the universe and have the universe tell you what it thinks will happen. Then some other psychics, they use other well, I think white noise is a component. I don't use that much. I don't use astrology. I think even Sufi master use astrology and the influence of planets. Uh, I find that it's similar to using white noise. So I don't particularly care for it, but what I use three different techniques. Then the first one is, well, actually, before I talk about the first one, recently I saw that somebody had made a cryptocurrency based on technology of prediction markets, polls, and well, if I had an AI system that read all the newspapers in the world and looked at all the polls and read millions of texts that were published last year, and kind of was very smart and analyzed all of that stuff, and I would become like an analyst that CIA would have, and the CIA has a lot of very smart analysts that kind of have a really good idea of what the world thinks and where it wants to go, what the politicians think, and you can make a very good educated guess that, hey, this is probably what's going to happen. And in fact, I see a lot of these kind of analysis with the financial analysts like Peter Schiff or Kaiser Report, or the guests that come on USA Watchdog, was Stockman. They analyze the financial system. They have a lot of experience from the past, and they are very educated, very smart, and their predictions are very much on the money. They might miss the timeline, but hey, I like Jim Rickards too. Well, I think Jim Rickards is in code with the Fed, but okay. So one method is like a very smart mathematician, very educated, very well read, very discerning. Okay, and the machines, they can do that. Okay, the robots, AI, is something that is very much possible. Okay, that's one way, and that appeals to a part of the human brain that's the left hemisphere, which is like the rational mind. Is based on math and prediction markets, or evaluating or weighting different criterias, and coming up with a very educated guess of what's going to happen. Okay, uh, I use some of that. Okay, I read a lot too. All right, so my IQ is 153. I'm not no dummy. All right, so you're not just gonna get psychic predictions. There is a lot of thinking here too. Uh, then the other method is I'm a medium, so I hook up with ghosts. Like the first ghost I really became conscious of this is my dad that passed away, and then gradually I saw or commune with other entities, other ghosts. So they they have a good idea of what is coming up next. I don't know how they know. Uh, it's I'm not very advanced spiritually to kind of get there, but I think that some people who had near death experiences, they're also able to kind of tap in. It has to do with the spirit, that the spirit knows, and everybody has a soul. um, the Sufi master said that all these magic and bewitchments is the works of that companion, and which means your own soul. So this is another way of accessing information that is not commonly available, or you gotta really dig in to find out. For example, Edgar Casey had dreams, and in his dreams it seemed like an old doctor was communing with him. And if you look at some of the medical practices, you see they're very old-fashioned, and that's getting information from source that's not really located in your own skull. It's outside of it. Is another person, and then there is a thing. The Sufis say that the human consciousness is like a drop of water from the ocean. Ocean meaning the universal consciousness, or God. I believe in God. I think that there is divine, there is a greater good, and our universe is governed by spiritual laws and spiritual forces. Okay, and this brings out another way of looking at events, and kind of putting in a framework of moral philosophy. So I don't look at technological advancement as much, or I don't look at where the money is going. I'm not an analyst for the intelligence service. Okay, to figure out, hey, what's happening next? What are they gonna buy or do next? Okay, that's not my department, but I kind of look at it. But the well, I some of the interpretations of events, I use this technique of dreams, or prayer. Ask God to show you. This is like hooking up with the supercomputer that the universe is. It comes in, the answer comes in. Okay, now let me tell you, when God speaks, it's like in the New Testament, he speaks in parables. Like it's like always like a story, and it's very symbolic or very metaphoric. You kind of have to look at it and look at the relationship to the prayer that you had the God to interpret this dream. Okay, and when you interpret this dream in relationship to different problems, it's just that is just one interpretation. For example, you read in the Bible that Pharaoh had a dream that there were these seven fat cows that came in and ate seven skinny cows. Okay, so and he had to go get somebody to interpret this dream and see where what this meant. So I've had three dreams that relate to United States, Israel, and also to 2018. Okay, the one that has to do with the United States is too much. I'm not putting it out. I'm just gonna tell you that what I like. There is a movies or something that is already out there. I'm gonna tell you, hey, this is gonna play out like this. Okay, but with Israel, okay, or Saudi Arabia, I'm going to tell you their future, how it's going to be exactly as I see it, exactly how it came in, because I'm a U.S. national and I totally don't care about these two regimes, and they're genocidal regimes and defy the world, and so they can have it straight and raw. It doesn't matter what they want, or I don't care about their public image or relations, whatever. I'm just gonna tell you what I think, totally what's gonna happen. Okay. So also I'm going to use the psychic predictions of other psychics that are very good, and there's no reason not to use them. Okay. So these are some preliminaries, and then I also want to tell you that I have 100 law books. Okay, anybody wants to, you know, really get into my face and or do something legally offensive, or I'm not totally defenseless. I'm very good at dealing with the law and with the people. I have every right to my opinion. This is free speech, and I'm going to use it. Also, you are not obligated to listen to this stuff. Okay, if it offends you, if you think I'm a racist, or I hate this and that, you can click away. Nobody's I didn't tie you to the chair or to this site. Okay, you're a free human being. You can make choices of your own. All right. I'm making my own choices. I'm using my right to free speech. I'm going to continue using that. I don't care if it reflects nicely or does not. I don't care. Also, I don't consider myself American. I'm still Iranian citizen. I'm a U.S. national. I've been here 40 years. Okay, but my personal loyalties and personal devotion is not to this system or to Christianity as we have it right now, or to Western values. I got my own. I practice Sufism, and I'm Muslim. Hey, this is where my thinking is. If it doesn't appeal to you, or you don't want to hear the rest of it, just move on. Okay, so there is a Greek expression. It goes like this: when God wants to punish a nation, okay, He first makes them crazy. Okay, and if you look at what's going on in Israel, in in Saudi Arabia, and in the United States, and you see that within their governments, each of these three governments, there's a lot of infighting. Okay, for example, the the senators, they want to get rid of Trump or impeach him, and then there's all these rumors of they want to assassinate him. Okay, this is the United States. In Saudi Arabia, there is the Khalifa Salman bin Muhammad. He confiscated many princesses' monies and stocks, holding them kind of hostage in a hotel. Then in Israel, their Supreme Court convicted or condemned Netanyahu, and then also in the United Nations condemned what Israel had declared to make Jerusalem their, and almost it was a huge numbers are against this move and what Trump said. Also, the America's supposed allies like Germany, Britain, um, other countries. What's the other one? Germany, Britain, France. They voted against United States and Israel and condemned this move. It just kind of inflames the problems in the Middle East. Okay, so also United States engaged in impending foreign war, but there is one analyst that says that the internal dissent in the United States is more dangerous than foreign wars. North Korea. I think his name is Charles Nenner. I had a dream. I think that I made a prediction that Trump is going to get assassinated. Okay, he makes many politicians, long established politicians, extremely nervous, and these people they have very dark or dirty dossiers, and they have gone and created wars and huge number of people in Iraq and other countries have gotten killed, and they don't care if they go like nuke another country like North Korea. They have a lot of karma, and also they're fearful of Trump, and Trump doesn't seem to stop with harassing them. I just my best estimation is that he's gonna get knocked out. Yeah, I don't think it's even gonna be impeachment, but a lot of he has fooled a lot of very good analysts too. When he was running for president, I had the impression of someone that would say or do anything to get into the White House. He didn't really care, and since he has come on the White House, he has actually done none of the things that he promised in the campaign. He totally is doing and pulling establishment policies and philosophies. He totally reinstated Federal Reserve and going along with this Jewish-owned bank and the stuff they do. J.P. Morgan, most of the financial guys are from J.P. Morgan. He bombed Syria, he bombed Afghanistan, he belligerent with North Korea. There's every possibility there is going to be nuclear exchange or a war of attrition, because the Russians made a deal and China made a deal with the United States that they won't use nukes. If that the United States won't use nukes if and then Russians will not get involved. So basically, I think the world, the Chinese, the Russians, and the other countries that have trouble with the United States want to get it involved in a war of attrition, where a lot of stupid service members go over there and get killed. It helps the U.S. economy. I don't know. This is really stupid, but then I project that like then this whoever is in charge after Trump will lose control and will nuke Pyongyang, and the Pyongyang will nuke capital U.S. Capital, or I don't know. I didn't have visions of seeing this nuclear exchange. I'm projecting. My rational mind is kind of looking at this, and this is not going to turn out very well. And then I think that there is a group of people. You see some of the stuff they say, like in USA Watchdog or even Kaiser Report, that are very seduced by Trump and all his bullshit. And there is so much optimism, and this stupid stock market just keeps climbing up a higher and higher ladders. So when things fall apart, I don't know what's going to happen to stock market before or after he's get nabbed, but then he has these people that I would call them the new branchers. They're usually not old style politicians, or they're lower ranking people that they're white, and they want political power even when everything is totally falling apart. They are more nationalistic. Well, if you want this to know these kinds of people, you should look at Infowars and the kind of crap they say. But I think that when things will go wrong, either Trump will do it, or if he gets nabbed, or if he gets assassinated, the group of these people, they will make kind of what they call this a period of terror. Many politicians get assassinated. Okay, I had a vision and I saw this. Okay, it's I'm not gonna put it out, but it looks like if you saw that series Lost, you know how the old guys that were in charge in this island, they one of them betrays them, and they all get killed in an attack, something like that, either piecemeal or in lump sum fashion. This is the U.S. government itself, all the politicians, not just Trump. They have a lot of karma, and this karma wants to show itself up, like it's like something that wants to happen. Okay, so we're gonna just let that be as is. Then I went. Some of the stuff I said that will happen in 2017 didn't come true, and I asked God that I don't know why these things. I was so sure some of these things are going to come true. What happened? And then I had this dream, and I'll tell you this very symbolic kind of dream. I saw in this dream that there was this massive skyscraper. It was just the tallest thing you can ever imagine. And I had taken the elevator to the almost the very top, the last few stores, and there were like stories left, and I climbed with the steps to the very last, and there was this like opening, and then there was like this not very large platform or manhole, but it wasn't too small. It was like couple of meters by like six, and there was a ladder, and the ladder was outside of this platform or this manhole, and I climbed the ladder and I got on top of the roof of this manhole. It was just, and when I got up, I was so scared because tall buildings have like a natural vibration. Okay, and it magnifies as you go up, way up. I got up and I basically fell on my butt, and I was in the dream. I was thinking, my God, I should not have come up this high. This is how am I gonna get the fuck out of here? I was looking at the platform. It was like just a little area, and the thing was shaking. And so I was like, I was very scared. And then I woke up. So this dream, which God gives, is symbolic of, and I'm going to use it as key to look at the immediate future to of United States, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. So basically, what United States has done is has played brinkmanship with all these foreign countries, like has invaded and overthrown many countries, and now doing the same with North Korea. Okay, so if they manage with nukes or with conventional weapons to even throw such a heavily armed regime that has nukes and has friends has a lot of strength and military. If the U.S. managed to do such a thing, undoubtedly the last two remaining superpowers, Russia and China, even Iran and other countries, will go all out and nuke the fuck out of United States, everything that there is here. Okay, so that's now what the Russians want. They want to punish United States for causing all this trouble in Middle East and in other countries. Same with China. They want to be left alone, not to be harassed in China Sea and all that. So they signed the agreement. I think United States will initially honor these agreements, and there will be a war of attrition. A lot of these brown shirts go in there and get killed. Okay, this one interpretation of this, right? Then on the financial market, uh, it's so overvalued. The U.S. Federal Reserve comes in and buys all these stocks and suppresses the precious metals, and there is so much derivatives and fake bonds, and the overvaluation is just tremendous. The depth is outrageous. It's like a very, very tall building, and you're going up there. Yes, you can go and do these things like a lot of quants want to do, like Jim Rickers, or people who are like that. They're mathematicians. They're extremely bright, and they help the Federal Reserve do financial engineering. Yes, you can do these things. You can build up a building that's such high levels, but you don't want to go there. Okay, just like this dream is telling you, this is like somebody sitting on top of a knife's edge. Just it's just gonna fall apart. Okay, so that's the interpretation of financial market. Many analysts who are predicting a huge crash. Okay, so I mean there is at least 50 really good analysts. I mean I'm not trying to compete with David Stockman. Okay, it's just the regular psychic. I my stature in that regard is more like a psychic that works in the Walmart. Anyhow, this is one interpretation of that. Okay, um, then you can take this model and apply it to Israel. Israel has been secretly financing ISIS and bombing the crap out of neighbors, occupying their land, grabbing their land. I'm not even going to go into their history. Okay, So I want to tell you what happened. Another vision that came in. This happened a few years ago, and I this was when there were some flotillas that were coming to help help the Gaza Palestinians. They were bringing them supplies and food stuff, and they were not armed. There were, I think there were two, three of them, and then the some of them were Turkish, and a lot of them were European too. And so what the Israeli government did, they sent in the soldiers or paratroopers, and they stopped the flotillas, they confiscated it, and also in the process they killed several of these activists. I think the ship's name was Marmara, something like that. And so I was working as a taxi driver back then, and I prayed to God, God, please show me the very end of this criminal nation, the criminal nation of Israel, that they do this stuff with impunity. They killed activists or people who were humanitarians. I had this dream. I saw that I was looking inside the Knesset. The Knesset, their parliament, and it was in session. All around the Knesset, there were sitting all these significant Jews, and around the Knesset were standing their best guards. Usually, if you in the dream, I saw they were all wearing white uniform with insignia, Zionist criminal insignia, and then I saw that in this outside of the Knesset there were like a huge number of extremely angry people, and there was like a huge mob, and they were going from place to place. They were, and everywhere they went, a huge black cloud, and they break and kill everything that was in that area. So and then as it went on, I saw that they were banging on one of the walls of the Knesset. They were like somebody taking a huge beam and just banging the fuck out of the wall, and then one of the walls gave in, and then these extremely angry people came in, and everywhere in the Knesset they went, they killed all the senators, and there was a black cloud on the Knesset. And then when it was like this dream went on, and I saw that I'm like inside this dungeon, or I talked to my friend, another friend. He was born in Palestine, and he told me. I told him, hey, his name is also Hassan. Hey Hassan, when I was looking in this dungeon, I saw that the ground was just dirt. How can that be? Even in the dungeon there's like stonework on the floor. How was this like that? And he told me, Hassan, that's not a dungeon, that's like a tunnel. Okay. And a couple of years later, all these issues with tunnels that the Hamas was digging came out. I saw that in this tunnel they had captured Avigdor Lieberman, and there were two Palestinian Hamas, and they were dragging him around, and like they were pulling him to take him to the gallows, and he was shaking his head real hard, saying, "You cannot do this to me. I'm the president, or I'm the significant politician of Israel. How can you do this?" And they were not paying attention to him. They were grabbing him and dragging him, and they took him and killed him. So I think Israel is going to end extremely violently. I don't know, ground troop from Golan or nukes. Another person said that, I'm not going to quote, uh, said that what they fear most will happen to them. It will be extreme violence. Many Zionists will get killed. Israel will get occupied. Many nations, they take bits and pieces of it. It's like in Iran, when you kill a sacrificial lamb, you just every person, the guy who slaughters it gets the head and the innards, and then sometimes they take people, they give it to each other, neighbors, as charity. It's going to become like a public feast, something like that. And this is I'm not going to elaborate anymore. I listen to Israeli news, Khabri. I think that he reads the Old Testament and interprets it in a very jolly, beautiful manner for Israel. Israel has a lot of karma. The future of Israel is not pretty. And another person, I'm not going to quote either, said that there was many years ago there was a Palestinian protest, and he said God heard the complaints of Palestinian people, like the divinity heard this. I mean, how can the news for future of Israel be so jolly and beautiful if the divinity he does not think that way? He heard the complaints of people. Like, does it make sense to you? And I think my psychic predictions are more valuable and also true, is because I'm not in favor of all these people, Zionists or U.S. government. I don't care for them. I can look at objectively. Okay, making a comparison, Prophet Muhammad is a million times better psychic than I could ever be, and there is psychic predictions